Hello, hello, good afternoon. How are you guys? Well, I hope. I hope everyone is having a great day. I am on time. Say what? Hopefully, you can hear the music. I don't want to have it too loud. I don't want to be distracted or feel overwhelmed. Okay, it's the middle of the day. Hopefully, you all, like I said, have been having a great day. You've been taking care of your business. Rested when you could, if you could. Those type of things. We're not robots, right? So I was feeling froggy, and I decided initially I was just gonna have it be like a one and done line where I just talked about the cost of living and and the evolution of that over the years. And this morning when I was doing a live and we were just discussing that, gave me a good idea to where I could just do a live a week until I get tired of it or don't want to do it anymore. Where we're talking about different eras. And I like that idea. So I said, you know what? I think I'm going to have Tuesdays be that day. Hold on. That's what I think I want to do. Now, before, I used to do something that we call Tataria Tuesdays, which wasn't nothing wrong with it. But I said, you know what? Tuesdays, we're going to have it be. What did I title this? Hold on. And I hope y'all like my thumbnail. I thought it was cute. Hold on. I don't know how long I was kicked out for, so my bad. That's annoying. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, I don't know how long it had me kicked out for. Apologies, apologies. But let's get started. I want to rock out to some jazz music, so hopefully you can hear it. Sorry about that, guys. StreamYard just does what it wants to do. ignorant. Excuse me. All right, so it says baby boomers are the generation born between 1946 and 1964, named for the significant increase in births following World War II due to post war optimism and economic prosperity. This large cohort, approximately 76 million strong in the US, is known for its strong work ethic, influence on social change, for example, civil rights movement and the Vietnam War protests, and what does it say? Significant consumer power. Okay. Though they are now entering retirement, impacting the workforce. Hold on. Though they are now entering retirement, impacting the workforce, and increasing demand for healthcare. Okay. So that is the definition they gave us as to what baby boomers are, or what a baby boomer is. And they listed some key characteristics for us. Mm, 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 mm. Obviously, like we said, if you were born between 1946 and 1964, you would be considered a baby boomer. Defining events: post World War II optimism, the Cold War. Damn, how many wars? The Cold War, the Civil Rights Movement, the Vietnam War, the space race, and the rise of rock and roll. These are some defining events that they listed for us. Work ethic, often described as hardworking, loyal, and career focused, with a strong belief in working their way up. Is that where they got that whole build yourself up by the bootstraps saying? Hold on. Let's let's sit there for a second because I want to see something. Hopefully it doesn't kick me out. I know y'all heard that saying before, even if someone hasn't actually said it to you. Build yourself up by your bootstraps. What's that? Don't make me type the whole thing. Jeez. People must not look that up. Hold on, Collins. Pulling yourself up by your bootstraps is an idiom for improving your situation through your own efforts without external help. So that we know, but where did this originate? This actually dates back to the 19th century, but what year? I don't got time to go into it right now. But I wonder. Hmm. Anyhow, okay. My bad. Hey, Becca. How are you doing on this blessed Tuesday? I'm doing good, thank you. How are you doing? And thank you for coming. Girl, I'm over here taking care of a couple birds with one stone. Enjoying my lunch break while doing this live, which can be a little tricky because it's tacky to eat while I'm trying to do this live. But so be it. Just don't tell my boy Johnny. Now, you guys are not seeing me eat. That's one thing, though. Message. Oh, my bad. How are you doing, Becca? I was telling everybody, me and myself, because I just been rocking out, that for Tuesdays moving forward, until I get tired of it, or until I no longer have an interest in doing it, I want to just talk about different eras. So I'm going to title it Throwback Tuesdays and then put whatever era we're talking about. So today we're going to tacos, girl. Tacos, steak tacos. Um, what was I saying? Oh yes, on Tuesdays instead of the Tantaria Tuesday that I used to do, we'll do Throwback Tuesdays, where I'm just talking about different eras. And today we're just discussing baby boomers. So let's continue. We're going to go over some key. We already went over the definition of baby boomers, and now we're going to go over key characteristics of that. I want to say of that era, or well, not era, generation era, same difference to me. So key characteristics of the baby boomer generation. We went over the fact that it was between 1946. If you're born between 1946 and 1964, you're considered a baby boomer. We already went over some of the defining events. We went over their work ethic, which made me pivot real quick because the last part said with a strong belief in working their way up, which instantly made me think about the saying, build yourself up by the bootstrap. Becca, so I was wondering, like, did that saying kind of originate during that generation? Hmm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm. All right, let's see. Next is technology. While not digital natives, many have adopted technology, especially social media like Facebook, to stay connected. So it says technology. While not digital natives, many have adopted technology, especially social media like Facebook, to stay connected. Okay. So what I'm taking from them even saying that is like, okay, most, because you can't categorize all because they're not a monolith, right? So a good portion of baby boomers are not like technically inclined, you know. They don't got no super smartphone. They're not really doing all of that. They just want it simple, you know, easy does it. But they do take a liking to social media, like Facebook. I feel like Facebook is would probably be simpler for them as opposed to Twitter and all the other ones. But they take a liking to those, and not because they're trying to be hip, but just solely because it's a good way of keeping in touch with people and finding people that they probably haven't spoken to in however long that may, you know, have the same thought process as far as joining a Facebook or something like that. Because at first they threw me for a loop. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, maybe this is what they're talking about. The next is financials. Let's see. The next is financials. And sorry if it seems like I'm reiterating certain things, but that's just for anybody that may be coming in. So yeah, we're going to go over the key characteristics for the baby boomer generation that is listed for us. Not to say that they are the only ones, right? Are the main ones. This is just what's listed. If you know something I don't know, enlighten me and everybody else, right? Okay. So financials. They hold significant wealth and buying power, but many are also taking on student debt to help their children. Huh. If you're born between 1946 and 1964, I can kind of see that because even if their children are graduated from college or whatever have you, I can see them helping them with that, depending on the dynamic. And to keep it a bean, I can see them helping their kids with on multiple fronts, depending on how stable that child is and how well they're doing. You can see them helping with grandkids and stuff like that, especially if they're retired. And I think what some people fail to realize when they have expectations of their parents, as far as the type of help they would like to get or that they should be receiving in comparison to other people they know and the type of help and support that they may or may not receive from their parents is, and that's whether it's financially or that is them helping with children because childcare is ridiculous, whatever the case, right? That only goes and works, besides the fact of if they are willing and wanting to do that for you, right? Um, that only goes and works if they are in a situation where they're able to do that for you, meaning they don't have to work themselves, you know what I mean? They don't have to work, those type of things. Because if you're a grandparent and you still have to work and do all the things that, you know, your child who needs help with has to do, and you're not in a financial situation to be able to help them, whether that is, like I said, with money or just being able to give your time to help with the kids or whatever, because you have to work, that can get a little tricky. And long are the days where, people's grandparents or people's parents are able to do that because some of them still have to work themselves. Like, obviously, not the old grandparents, but you catching what I'm going, I'm thinking. All right, so that was financials. The next is retirement. A large wave of boomers, is retiring, creating talent gaps, and increasing demand for healthcare services. Yeah, they're retiring. So obviously, there's going to be a gap if somebody retires or if they quit or whatever the case may be. Once they leave that job, somebody has to take that on, right? Which will be that next generation of people. And it says increasing demand for healthcare. Yeah, because not everybody has the luxury, or is blessed to be able to retire, um, and live out the rest of their days, so to say, in the comfortability of their home. Even those who own homes, and I know that firsthand. People who own their homes, who has spent 30 years paying their home off or whatever have you, but because of whatever their health situation is or their needs are, if they have children, if they the relationship that they have with their children, you know the situation that their children are in, it's not a given that they won't end up in a nursing home, whether that is a nursing home that is good or a not so good nursing home, because both do exist. um to where they have to turn their house over to the nursing home if they're getting any type of state assistance or help with paying that nursing home. Now, if they're doing it on some private stuff, then no, they can't touch their house. But at least where I live, if you own a home, right, you would have had to turn over your home to, your child or somebody else 5 years before you enter into that nursing home to live there. You know what I mean? Which is crazy to me because nobody has a crystal ball to say, oh, yeah, in about 5 to 10 years, I'm going to need to go in this nursing home. So let me get my affairs in order. Sometimes things just happen, right? So if you land yourself in the nursing home and you don't have it to be able to pay out of pocket, so you need some type of help from the state, they snatching that house up. So I think I said nursing home is snatching up. Excuse me. I don't believe the nursing home is snatching it up. The state is going to take over that house because they're paying for you to live in that nursing home, regardless of the conditions. And their thought process, whether it's right or wrong, is if you have a home, especially if you have children, like if you turn around and say, like if you weren't privy of this information, like a lot of people aren't, and then you find out when you find out, and you're like, no, I planned on giving that home to my children. They're like, no, if that's the case, your child could be taking care of you and having home health aides come to the home to take care of you. You wouldn't need to be here. So that's that. Now, obviously, that's probably not the case everywhere, but I do know that to be true. She said, oh, hey, Alice. She says, hey, V, happy Tuesday. I'm stopping by to say hello. Continue to be blessed. Thank you for stopping by. Hey, thank you. Appreciate you coming. Yeah, this live, I wasn't really anticipating or expecting a bunch of people to attend. I understand. Everything's not for everybody, so I do appreciate those that thought, to stop in and say what's up. And Becca, I appreciate you rocking out with me. And I appreciate whoever's going to catch the replay. It's all love. The same way I appreciate the ones who, catch me during other lives that just may be busy or this just may not be their cup of tea. I understand every live that I come across is not my cup of tea. So I definitely wouldn't want that to be something that is held against me. I take it. So let's see. Becca, you said I'm all late with that one. I'm sorry. You said I was born in the 60s. Okay, cool beans. So you're welcome, V. Appreciate it. Let's see how much more time we have. You said we can do probably like almost 10 more minutes. It's crazy how fast time goes by. Like I said, even though we're not gonna, be able to do a super deep dive because I don't do long lives. It's rare that my live reaches more than I would love to say between 30 and 45 minutes tops. There might be rare occasions where we hit like 50 minutes or something if I'm feeling froggy, but for the most part between 30 and 45 minutes. Hey Broham, what's up, CP3? How are you doing? Well, I hope you have a good day, V. You have a good day as well. We still got a little bit of time. Nothing crazy. I'll be able to go over at least one or two more parts. And really there's not much left. At least for this page. I'm not gonna be able to get into everything, but even if it's something that interests you guys to want to take a deeper dive, there's nothing wrong with that either. So yeah, we went over the definition of baby boomers. We went over some of the key characteristics of that generation. And it says cultural impact. They were the first generation to widely demonstrate for social change. They got it popping. with the protesting. You know what I mean? And they had to endure, some of them, some otherworldly backlash. You know what I mean? For what it is they were protesting, and the levels in which they chose to take to get their part out. And a lot of it was for stuff that didn't even you know, directly impact some of them. They just they felt moved, excuse me, to participate. Okay. The next, we're going to go over, like I said, the cultural impact that the baby boomer generation had. They gave us three of them. The second one is they helped grow a consumer-driven economy. They were buying a lot of stuff on top of having a lot of babies, which I guess would require you to buy more stuff, right? And the last one they listed for us, it says they are a major force in the workforce, with many still working or in leadership positions. Exactly. Because age don't really stop too much of nothing if your body is still intact and your mind is still intact. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people get that mixed up for some people, and they sleep on older people instead of trying to learn something. But it says, yes, they are a major force in the workforce, with many still working or in leadership positions. Yes. All right, guys. So we didn't do a deep dive, but that's okay. That is a-okay. It says, what are the 7 generations called? So it says the greatest generation. I never even heard of some of these. The greatest generation is if you were born between 1901 and 1927. The silent generation is if you were born between 1928 and 1945. Baby boomers is what we touched on today. If you were born between 1946 and 1964. Generation X, if you were born between 1965 and 1980. Millennials, whoop, whoop, if you were born between 1981 and 1996. Generation Z, if you were born between 1997 and 2012. Okay. And this last one, at least for now, is Generation Alpha, if you were born between 2013 and the mid 2020s. So if we're in, yeah, because it's 2026 right now. So that would be considered technically mid, but on the way out. Some, what the heck? Some sources may include earlier cohorts like the Lost Generation or newer ones like Generation Beta. I got since Alpha, Generation Alpha. The next would be Generation Beta starting in 25. But I guess they haven't made it a thing yet. We'll see. Anywho, those are the 7 commonly recognized generations. I'm thinking we're going to talk about them. Why not, right? I'm about to get out of here. Thank y'all for coming. I hope you're able to get something out of this. Like I said, if you feel like you're left wanting to know more, I encourage people to do their own research. Duh. Thank you for coming. Bye.